It's Wednesday, July 2nd, AD 2025. This is the Worldview in 5 minutes, written by Jonathan Clark and myself, and heard on 140 radio stations and at theworldview.com. I'm Adam McManus. Hundreds of Hindu nationalists attacked a group of Christian families in eastern India last month. The 20 families were eating lunch together before the mob attacked them. 8 of the Christians had to be hospitalized. A Christian leader in the area told International Christian Concern, quote, Hindu right-wing activists continued to threaten people to change their religion and accept Hinduism, end quote. However, the Christians resisted. India is ranked 11th on the Open Doors World Watch list of the most difficult places to be a Christian. Hebrews 10:23 says, Let us hold fast the confession of our hope without wavering, for he who promised is faithful. The Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda signed a peace deal last Friday in Washington, D.C. The United States brokered the agreement, which will allow American companies to access minerals in the region. Armed groups across the 2 East African nations have been in conflict since the 1990s. The violence has left millions of people dead. Christians in the area have been especially vulnerable. Listen to comments from President Donald Trump on the conflict.
It's displaced countless people and claimed the lives of thousands and thousands, but today the violence and destruction comes to an end, and the entire region begins a new chapter of hope and opportunity, harmony, prosperity, and peace.
The U.S. Senate passed President Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill yesterday. Vice President J.D. Vance cast the tie-breaking vote to approve it 51-50. The 3 Republican senators who defected include Susan Collins of Maine, Rand Paul of Kentucky, and Thom Tillis of North Carolina. The spending bill extends Trump's tax cuts from 2017. It provides more funding for defense and immigration enforcement while cutting Medicaid spending. Appearing on Fox News Channel, Stephen Miller, White House Deputy Chief of Staff, outlined the highlights of Trump's big, beautiful bill.
Each and every one of the individual titles in this bill would be considered one of the great achievements in the history of the conservative movement. Building the missile defense shield, our children can be safe from foreign adversaries in this growing era of intercontinental ballistic missiles as nations race for supremacy. The section on this bill enshrining border and homeland security, this is the most far-reaching border security proposal, homeland security proposal in my lifetime. I've stood by the families whose kids have been murdered by illegal aliens. We made them a promise. Most importantly, the American people voted to fulfill that promise in the last election. This bill fulfills it. It is the largest tax cut and reform in American history. No tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime, 100% expensing for new factories. Think about that. Every single business owner with a dream of manufacturing in America can deduct 100% of that cost to make the American dream come true. The largest welfare reform in American history. Work requirements on food stamps, work requirements on Medicaid. This is the most conservative bill in my lifetime. Tax cuts, defense, border security, homeland security, welfare reform, and the largest spending cut in one bill that has ever been enacted. Let's pass this bill.
The bill does raise the debt ceiling by $5 trillion. The U.S. national debt currently stands at $37 trillion. The bill heads back to the U.S. House of Representatives for final approval. Trump hopes to sign the bill by July 4th. The Senate version of the One Big Beautiful Bill would also defund Planned Parenthood. A provision in the bill cuts abortion funding through Medicaid for 1 year. Originally, the provision would have cut the funding for 10 years. Democratic Senator Patty Murray of Washington offered an amendment to strike the provision defunding Planned Parenthood from the bill. Thankfully, the Republicans rejected her pro-abortion amendment. Marjorie Dannenfelser, president of Susan B. Anthony Pro-Life America, said, quote, Taxpayers should never be forced to funnel their hard-earned dollars to big abortion. This funding currently hits almost $800 million annually." End quote. A new poll from the Associated Press found that Americans are divided on their views of religion in public schools. 58% of U.S. adults think religious chaplains should be allowed to provide support services in public schools. Only 44% are in favor of teachers leading a class in prayer. And 39% support a mandatory period during school for private prayer and religious teaching. Also, 38% of Americans think religion has too little influence on what children are taught in schools, while 32% think religion has too much influence. A man armed with a rifle started a wildfire Sunday and then began shooting at first responders in a northern Idaho mountain community, killing 2 firefighters and wounding a third during a barrage of gunfire over several hours, reports the Associated Press. Crews responded to a fire at Canfield Mountain, just north of Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, around 1:30 p.m., and gunshots were reported about a half hour later. The gunman, identified as 20-year-old Wes Raleigh, committed suicide at the scene. Sheriff Bob Norris said, quote, "We do believe that the suspect started the fire, and we do believe that it was an ambush, and it was intentional. These firefighters did not have a chance," end quote. The deaths of Frank Harwood, a 42-year-old firefighter, and John Morrison, a 52-year-old firefighter, have left their colleagues reeling. David Tisdale, age 47, a Coeur d'Alene Fire Department fire engineer, sustained gunshot wounds and was in critical condition. Authorities said he had 2 successful surgeries. Ironically, the dead gunman, Wes Raleigh, had once aspired to be a firefighter and had only minor contacts with area police, reports The Guardian. Ocean explorers recently captured a rare Indonesian fish on camera for the first time. Marine biologist Alexis Chapuas encountered an Indonesian coelacanth nearly 500 feet below the ocean surface in the Maluku Islands. The Indonesian species of the fish has been spotted before but never photographed underwater. The coelacanth has been called a living fossil. Scientists believe they were extinct until one was spotted in 1938. Frank Sherwin with the Institute for Creation Research wrote that the fish, quote, "continues to be a thorn in the evolutionist's side. Paleontologists can only say these amazing fish evolved from a vague, unidentified ancestor. Creationists say there have always been coelacanth fish since their creation thousands of years ago," end quote. Psalm 104 verses 23 and 24 says, "O Lord, how manifold are your works! In wisdom have you made them all. The earth is full of your creatures. Here is the sea, great and wide, which teems with creatures innumerable, living things both small and great." Even though the Worldview in 5 Minutes fundraiser officially concluded on June 30th, 7 final donations came in on July 1st. Our thanks to Tony and Jenny in Palmdale, California, who gave $5.50, Julia in Wellsburg, Iowa, who gave $20, and Christopher in Dubois, Pennsylvania, who gave $25. And we're grateful to God for Letitia in Bloom, Texas, who pledged $15 per month for 12 months for a gift of $180. Siblings in Wellsburg, Iowa, who pledged $20 per month for 12 months for a gift of $240. Ed in Wellsburg, Iowa, who pledged $25 per month for 12 months for a gift of $300. And Gerald in Abbotsford, British Columbia, Canada, who gave $476. Those 7 Worldview listeners gave $1,246.50. Ready for our final grand total? Drum roll, please. $126,741. That means we exceeded our $123,500 goal to fund the 6-member Worldview newscast team by $3,241. Thanks again for your sacrifice and your kindness. Psalm 145 verse 3 says, "Great is the Lord and most worthy of praise. His greatness no one can fathom." And that's the Worldview on this Wednesday, July 2nd, in the year of our Lord 2025. Follow us on X or subscribe for free by Spotify, Amazon Music, or by iTunes or email to our unique Christian newscast at theworldview.com. I'm Adam McManus. Seize the day for Jesus Christ.